Hello there, welcome or welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Samantha and this is my channel where I talk all about books. And today I'm coming to you with episode 5? Yes, we're in May, which is the 5th month. So yes, episode 5 of my TBR Tackle series. If you don't know, this year I'm trying to get my physical TBR down to 0. I think we started on 41 and we're currently at 27 or 28, depending on how you look at one book that I have, which I'm going to talk about today. But it's a bind up of 2 books in one. So I'm like, do I count that as 2 books or do I count it as 1? I don't know. Because every time I hear people talk about it, they just talk about the bind up. And I'm like, do I count it as 2 books? I don't know. Because it also adds on an extra book, but then I have to feel more accomplished because I'm reading 2 books in one. You can let me know what you think about it down below. But yeah, for argument's sake, we have 27 books left on the TBR. And in this episode, I'm going to be reading different genres, which probably doesn't make sense because I am running low on genres, but I've chosen 3 different genres, kind of. I've got 3 books to talk to you about, kind of. For the TBR for this episode is, firstly, Theft of Swords by Michael J. Sullivan. This is the book which is 2 books in one. I'm actually already almost halfway through the first book in this bind up. So yeah, let me know if you think this counts as 1 or 2 books. Because like, it's a pretty hefty book. It's like over 600 pages, but it's 2 books that are like 300 pages. So I don't know. Is it 1 or 2? But yeah, this is my first pick. I'm also already currently reading Sensibility by Jane Austen, which for this, I'm counting the genre as a classic, which I think people do use classic as a genre, but really like it's a romance, but it's like a classic romance, but we're counting it as classic. I'm listening to this on audio. And then my last pick is a book that I cannot believe I haven't read yet, because the day that I'm filming this intro, it has been an entire month since this book came out, and that is Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, which I am an Emily Henry stan. Not quite, I don't love all of her books, but I do love all but one. Anyway, and I'm really scared about this one because I've heard such mixed reviews, but I'm very excited to read it, and I think it'll be a quick read. So these are the 3 books on the TBR for this video. And also I'm going to be doing a bit of a challenge, I think, because even though I did a challenge in last month's episode, I think I need another one because there have been a lot of changes in my life in the last month. I started a new job, so I'm not even like starting this vlog until the end of May. It's currently the 24th, so I'm starting this very late on in the month, which is also why I've already started 2 of the books. It's been very busy. I've been kind of slumpy and I've really got out of the habit of reading. So I thought, I've done this before and we're doing it again. I'm going to be using a spinner wheel to choose how many hours I'm going to be reading each day. And I've started with 1 hour and we go up to 3 hours in half-hour increments. Obviously, it could be more challenging, but I have to factor in the fact that I do work. We're gonna spin the wheel and what are we gonna land on? We'll see. We've landed on 2.5 hours for today, which is actually fine because I've already been reading for almost an hour and a half. I have been listening to the audiobook of Sense and Sensibility because I had to go get my eyebrows done. So I listened to that while I was walking around and also while I was putting my makeup on. So yeah, I am already like over halfway there, which is great. So yeah, I will definitely be doing this today. I'm going to a comedy show at like 4:30 because I just wanted something to do and we got tickets really cheap. So my husband and I are going on a little date to a comedy show and then we're going out for dinner, I think. But I should definitely still be able to read for like another hour basically. Yeah, that is excellent news. Yeah, I'm gonna go because actually my mom and my sister just got home from going to go see some kittens, because that might also be a change that's happening soon. We might be adopting a kitten, which is really exciting. But I'll come back to you later and tell you all about Theft of Swords because this is gonna be like the first book that I'm hoping to finish in this video. Although Sense and Sensibility is actually flying by. We'll chat about this in a bit. I gotta go, but welcome to the video. Hello, good morning. It is Sunday, next day, and I'm gonna be quite honest with you. I did not finish my timer yesterday. I listened to Sense and Sensibility for an hour and a half before we went out, and then we went out to this comedy show, which was fun. Not everyone was great, but overall, like, it was a really fun experience, and a few people were really funny, so yeah, it was a good time. And we went out for dinner. We went to this Mexican place that we'd never been to before, and basically, the people who, like, I don't know, owned it or ran it, they were so friendly. And I ordered this quesadilla, which was like called Tears of Fire, and I was eating it and I said to Alex, like, like, it's really good, but it's not really like Tears of Fire. Like, it was not spicy in my opinion. Anyway, and the guy overheard me And I was so embarrassed. And then afterwards, like he came to clear our plates and Alex was in the bathroom. And so then the guy started chatting to me and he was like, oh, so like I heard you say like it's not Tears of Fire. Like, was it a bit disappointing? I was like, no, it was like really good. But like it just wasn't that spicy. Anyway, and then he was telling me about like changes they were planning to make to it. And I was like, I felt so embarrassed and so bad. But I'm like, you know, if people ordered the spiciest thing on the menu, in theory, like they expected it to be spicy and it was not that spicy. But anyway, it was really tasty though. It had like salsa verde in it and jalapenos. Oh, it came with a habanero mayo, but I don't eat mayo because I don't eat eggs. So I was like, no thanks. So it might have been spicier if I had had the habanero mayo, but yeah, basically because we got to chatting to the people who worked there, they ended up giving us like a free little shot of tequila and it was like salty caramel flavored. It was so good. Oh my god. Anyway, and so yeah, by the time we got home, I was like, I'm not in a reading mood anymore. I've had one beverage, so my brain isn't working anymore. I didn't read, which means I'm gonna add on an hour to whatever I get today. And I'm so sorry for my current appearance, by the way. I'm about to get ready because we're gonna go see my granny. But while I'm getting ready, I'm obviously listening to the audiobook, not while I'm talking. I just haven't taken out my AirPods. So I thought let's spin our wheel so I can actually start a timer because it would be easier to keep track of how long I've been reading for. So spin. Okay. Sweet. We landed on 2 hours, which means I have to do 3 hours today because I did not finish yesterday. I'm going to start a timer for 3 hours. I have already been listening to the audiobook, but only for like 7 minutes. So I'm going to do a timer for 3 hours and then I can pause that while I'm like at my granny's and then hopefully get some good reading done when I get home. I'm going to get back to listening to the audiobook. I'm like making really decent progress. I think I'm like 20% of the way through Sensibility. And I watched the film of this in October or September, I think. Not that long. Well, I guess it was like 6 or 7 months ago, but not that long ago in the grand scheme of things. So I'm like able to picture the characters really well. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time. This one is a little bit sad. The girlies are having a sad time, but it's also good. It's a good one. So yeah, I'm gonna keep listening and check in with you later. Hello there. Good evening. It is, well, afternoon. It just seems like it's later because it's very rainy today. It's been like raining on and off all day. However, it is a bank holiday today. So obviously it's gonna rain because it's England, and if it's a bank holiday weekend, it is almost guaranteed that it's gonna rain. Of course it's raining, but it's fine. I have been doing some packing today because we are moving. I'm not quite sure when. We're not quite sure when, but it's going to be quite soon, I think. So I started packing up my books, which is so sad. At the moment, I just have all of my TBR books still out, and I have like 1.5 other shelves, which I just haven't packed up yet because the problem with packing up boxes now is that then I just have to live with boxes in my room. I've done some packing, but not a ton. And while I was doing the packing, I was listening to Sense and Sensibility, of course. I'm now like almost halfway through, I believe. So I'm making decent progress. I'm enjoying myself, although I will say, like, I already know the story because I watched the film not that long ago. I think I already said that. And it is definitely a bit sad. The girlies are going through some heartbreak, but it's still a good time, and I like seeing the like sisterly dynamics because I think in the last Jane Austen that I read, in Persuasion, whilst Anne, the main character in Persuasion, she did have sisters, she wasn't that close with her sisters. There was one of her sisters who we saw a lot more than the other one, but she was like very silly and selfish. Meanwhile, obviously in Pride and Prejudice, there are a lot of sisters and, you know, they have quite a nice relationship. And in this, there's Eleanor, Marianne, and they do have a younger sister whose name is Margaret, but she's much younger, so she's not as involved. But yeah, Marianne and Eleanor are quite close in age and also just to each other. So yeah, it's nice to see. I'm enjoying it. It's very strange though because I cannot not picture the actors from the movie. Like Colonel Brandon is Alan Rickman and it's just weird. And Marianne is just Kate Winslet in my mind and Eleanor is Emma Thompson. And yeah, it's just weird. I'm picturing them so clearly. But yeah, I'm having a good time. I need to do my nails because I do my nails myself. I feel like every time I do my nails and I'm talking about it, I explain this whole thing. But yes, I gel my nails at home myself kind of every 2 weeks or so. And it's been 2 weeks. But if I leave it and we do have to pack next weekend, I'm not going to be able to do them next weekend. So I'm going to do my nails and I'm going to continue listening to Sense and Sensibility. We'll see how far I can get. However, in terms of like my timer situation, I did not complete my reading yesterday. I think I still had 1 hour and 45 minutes left. And I have been listening to this book for quite a while. So I now only have half an hour left of my timer, but that's my timer for yesterday. And then I have to add on an additional 2.5 hours because I spun the wheel earlier this morning because I wanted to know. And as you can see, I landed on 2.5 hours. So is that ideal? No, it's not ideal. But I really don't want to carry over any more time to tomorrow because tomorrow is Tuesday. So I'm working. Not only am I working, but I also have line dancing in the evening, which typically on a Tuesday I don't read very much because I have line dancing. We're gonna see what I spend for tomorrow, but yeah, I really have to get my reading done today. Nails will take me about an hour, I think. Then I just have to commit to reading more of Theft of Swords, which I did read a little bit more yesterday. I'm on page 158. Again, I stopped in the middle of the chapter because I was just too damn tired. But yeah, I'm like halfway through this book as well. I could make some decent progress on this today. I think that's the problem, is that I'm like only sitting down to read it for like half an hour at a time, and I need to like fully commit to reading a big old chunk in one go. So that's what I'm gonna do later after I've done my nails. That's my little reading update. Honestly, not much to tell you about. Oh, I haven't even told you what it's about. Oh my god. So this book basically follows our main characters, Royce and Hadrian. Royce is a skilled thief and Hadrian is mercenary. And basically they find nobles who are like looking to do something a little bit dodgy. Either they're stealing something or they're just trying to screw over another noble, like stuff like that. And basically they do those jobs for them. One day this man comes in and he offers them a massive sum. And he's like, yeah, I want you to do this, but you have to do it tonight. And it involves breaking into the castle where the king lives, obviously. And basically they go in to steal something for this man. And that night the king is murdered. And so who gets blamed? Royce and Hadrian. And so basically because of that, they end up having to go on this like big adventure, and they're kind of brought into this conspiracy. And yeah, it's a good time. I was thinking it was going to be a little bit more silly goofy, but it's not so far, and I'm enjoying it. There have been female characters. To be fair, we did not see them a ton, but there have been 3 or 4 female characters who are named, which is great, because I realized that before The Martian I had not read a single book written by a man this year, which is like amazing. Anyway, and now I'm reading 2 back to back. God damn it. But yeah, I appreciate that there are women in this book. So far, I'm okay with the way that he's writing women. We'll see how it goes. I will chat to you later, hopefully having finished one of these books, or at least finish my timer for today. Hello, good morning. It's Tuesday. I am literally logging on to work in 10 minutes, so I need to be super quick. I just wanted to pop on to say that I did finish reading Sensibility last night. Obviously, I had to do my nails, and then I didn't really have that long left, and I got a cross stitch. If you don't know, I was working on a cross stitch project for like 5 months, and then I finished it in March. And since then, I like tried to start doing crochet, which I want to get back into. However, at the moment, I cannot crochet and listen to an audiobook. So I'm like, I want a task that I can do while I'm also listening to an audiobook. So for me, that's cross stitch because it is so mindless. So I got a new cross stitch and I started it last night. I was working on that and I was like, why don't I just continue working on that and I can finish listening to Sensibility. I ended up giving this a 4 stars, and I will give you more of a review later, but I don't actually have time right now. I also read some more of Theft of Swords, not too much, but a bit, and I did not finish my timer. I still have 20 minutes left from yesterday, so I was very close. I have been listening to some audiobooks this morning, but they don't count for this vlog, so I'm not counting it in my reading. But before I start work, just so I know like what I'm working with today in terms of my lunch break and stuff, I thought we should spin the wheel. So here we go, spinning the wheel. I'm screen recording it, so I don't know. I'm holding it for you to see. I need to see what it says. Come on, 1 hour, 1 hour. Yes! Yes, this is actually exactly what I needed today. So I have to read for 1 hour, which I think is doable. I will read on my lunch break, like I said, and I probably will read before I go to bed tonight. So I have to read for 1 hour and 20 minutes today. I have to go. I have to get to work. I will come back to you and talk to you about Sensibility later when I have time, because right now I literally have to run. Anyway, it's Sunday again. Ask me how much reading I've done since I spoke to you on Tuesday. None. I've read nothing from this book or from Great Big Beautiful Life. So I think it's now been officially 2 weeks since I started this, which is kind of a catastrophe. And it was a very exciting part. I just haven't really been in a reading mood. As I've probably already mentioned, there's a lot going on right now. As you might see from the boxes, we're moving pretty soon. Date is still not confirmed, which is also stressing me out. Still adjusting to the new job. And then also a family member has been very unwell recently. So it's been a lot. And I haven't really had the mental capacity to read. I have been listening to the audiobook of Pride and Prejudice because after finishing Sense and Sensibility, I was like, let me just move on to the next one because it was the full like audible collection of all of Jane Austen's books. So the next one was Pride and Prejudice. I was like, well, let me just start listening to that because, you know, I could always do a reread. Anyway, I realized that on Tuesday, I was like, I'm going to come back to you, tell you my thoughts later because I had to run. And I never did. I tried and then I never did. So my thoughts on Sense and Sensibility. I really enjoyed this one. I really like the sister dynamic. I feel like Marianne is like over dramatic. She's, you know, she has a lot of feelings. She feels a lot. And back in the day, back in this time, that was not really like the way. Like, arguably nowadays, people still think that women are hysterical or whatever. Like, a lot of words are thrown around to describe women with negative connotations. I myself am a very emotional person. Yeah, I like the fact that Marianne is like more outward with her emotions, because Eleanor has to kind of like watch herself and also try and look out for Marianne. And like, it's just interesting reading their dynamics. And obviously Eleanor is feeling so much more inside. It's an interesting dynamic between the two of them. And I really like their sisterly dynamic. Obviously it's very different from like the sisterly dynamic in Pride and Prejudice. I do enjoy the way that Jane Austen writes sisters. I enjoyed the romance as well. Specifically, I enjoyed Eleanor's romance more. With both of the sisters, their romances are full of miscommunication and melodrama, kind of, and it's a bit much. I will say I feel like it's kind of similar in a way. They are different, but there are certain aspects where it overlaps, sort of the conflict there, which is a bit interesting because I'm like, you could have made that a little bit different. I don't know. I feel like I'm trying to find faults with it. It just didn't feel like a 5-star, but it was a very good book, a 4-star. I really enjoyed my time reading this. But yes, that is another one off the TBR, and I'm slowly, and I had 2 copies of it. I forgot. I have 2 copies of Sensibility, and now I've read it. So both of those can go onto the read section. Another book off of the TBR, which is excellent. And now I would really like to put in some time with Theft of Swords. Alex is out right now, and he'll probably be back in like a few hours. I don't know, maybe at like 7. It's currently like 4 o'clock. So I might try and finish this before he gets home, because we've also been watching a lot of TV recently, partially because I haven't been like in a super reading mood. But yeah, I would really like to finish the first novel in this bind up, The Crown Conspiracies, book 1. And yeah, I'm on page 175, which is about halfway through, or just over halfway through. So yeah, I would really like to maybe try and finish this before Alex gets home, because I was really enjoying it. I just haven't really been in the right headspace, but I feel like I can push distractions aside and read this. And then I will take a break, read this, and then come back and finish this. But yeah, that is the plan for the rest of the day. I also like have not edited a video in a while, and like I need to film my May wrap up now because it's June 1st. What the hell? I have some other stuff that I should be getting on with, but it's fine. Like, I know a video's not going up this week. That's okay. Like, there's so much going on, and I've been through a lot recently, so that's okay. I'm allowed to chill. This isn't my job. This is my hobby. I'm gonna love you and leave you. I'm gonna read this book, and I'll chat to you once I finish this. Hello, good morning. It's Tuesday, which means it's work from home day, which means I might actually get some reading done on my lunch break, but we'll see. Because yeah, I never read on my lunch break at work, because I normally have lunch with other people. Anyway, I did read some more of this last night, even though I didn't do a timer for yesterday, but yeah, it's been a real situation. But I'm on page 250 of 311. So I have 60 pages to go. I better finish this first book today. Otherwise, I'm going to throw hands with myself. I have to say, another reason why I haven't been reading a ton is because we just started watching Lost. I've never seen Lost before, but I know how it ends. I don't know why I know how it ends, but I heard somewhere the ending, so I know what happens. And Alex, my husband, he doesn't know how it ends, but he watched season 1 to 5 and he just never finished it. So yeah, we've just started watching Lost, but we're only on episode like 3. Let's spin this wheel, see how much we have to read today. Hopefully not too much, because I do have to work. An hour and a half. Okay, perfect. I've actually already been reading this morning. I've been listening to the audiobook of Pride and Prejudice. I'm almost finished, but I'm not counting that towards the spinner wheel time, because this should be books from the TBR. I will read Theft of Swords for an hour and a half, which I am reading quite slowly for some reason. So the last 60 pages might take me that full hour and a half, but I'm going to go get myself ready to log on to work. Good morning. It's Friday. Haven't spoken to you in a while. Whoopsie daisies. Very quickly, I'll come back and review this later. I actually will, I promise. I finished book 1 of Theft of Swords on Wednesday? Yes, Wednesday. And I enjoyed it. I would say I would probably give it like a 3.75 to 4. But I think partially the problem there is that it took me so long to read it. And that's my own fault. I just was not really in a reading mood. I finished the first one. I am planning to read the second one in this video as well. Although, who knows when this video is going to go up. Anyway, but in the meantime, I am going to read Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, which I'm a little bit nervous about, but also very excited. Anyway, and I want to do a little bit of reading this morning, maybe like half an hour before I start getting ready for work. I'm working from home today, so I've got some time. Not a ton of time, but a little bit of time. Anyway, so I thought we'd just do the spinner wheel together real quick, and then I can, oh, not the timer, and then I can read for a bit. Spin. Okay. We've landed on an hour and a half, which is perfectly doable. That's how long I'm going to be reading for today. I'm going to go get some reading done. Chat to you later. Hello, please excuse the mess and also my appearance. I just got back from a run and we are officially moving, which is why this vlog is such a mess. I am so sorry. Also, the other day when I spun the wheel and I said, I'm gonna read for an hour and a half today, I read nothing. I have not read anything in like 2 days, which is very odd for me because I like to read every day. There's a lot going on because this move looked like it wasn't happening and then all of a sudden it is happening and we have to be out by Friday and it's currently Sunday. But I did do a bunch of packing yesterday and now I'm packing up the bookshelf. Well, it's mostly packed already, but I have a bunch of books I'm getting rid of. So I thought we would do a very quick unhaul portion of this vlog to try and recover a little bit and make it not so terrible. I mean, I haven't edited anything, but I just know that like things have been so sporadic and I'm so sorry if you're not enjoying this vlog. Well, if you're not, you've probably stopped watching. I just don't think this is my best work, but I know that like the circumstances surrounding this are insane. So yeah, things are a bit of a mess right now. Anyway, let's chat about some books I'm getting rid of. First things first, we have, very sadly, just because of the backstory, we have this little copy of Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. I am just aware that I'm never going to read this. And this is like a really cool copy because it's really old. It's like from the 50s, I think. We actually found it in a house that my mom was redoing and they had a bunch of old books. And it's got a letter in it, which is like half written from like 1950 something, which I just think is so cool. Like this book has a lot of history. But am I ever going to read this? No. So I think somebody who actually like likes this can collect it and appreciate it, hopefully. Next we have Away with the Penguins by Hazel Pryor. I tried to read this and ended up DNFing. Now on to things that I have read and will not reread. We have Anne and the French Kiss and Lola and the Boy Next Door. I'm so sad to be getting rid of these because these were like OG booktube faves. However, I actually reread Anne and the French Kiss 2 years ago for my 9-year booktube anniversary, which by the way, we just passed my 11-year booktube anniversary, which is insane. And I didn't do anything to celebrate, but yeah, we've been doing this for 11 years. Yeah, I reread Anne and the French Kiss and I did like it, but I was like, I'm never going to reread it again. I never really liked Lola and the Boy Next Door as much, so I'm not going to be rereading this one. But I am going to keep Island the Happily Ever After for now because I do want to reread it because I remember feeling like Isla and I were kindred spirits. So yeah, I want to reread that one. Next we have Flawless by Elsie Silver. I was going to hold on to this, but actually like I'm not going to reread it. Magnolia Parks, I don't think I need to clarify. Watch this vlog if you haven't. But this is going. Then we have Behind the Net, which I read in my last TBR Tackle episode, and I didn't hate it or anything, but I'm never going to reread it, so this is going to go. Next, we have Things in Jars by Jess Kidd. I didn't actually read this, but I realized that I didn't want to read it, so this is going. Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. Again, this was in the last TBR Tackle vlog, and I couldn't finish it, sadly. So yeah, this is going. And then this is actually not a good day for Cassandra Clare because I'm also getting rid of the Dark Artifices series. I don't like this series that much. I thought it was okay. I think I gave Lady Midnight 4 stars. I think the other two were 3.5 and 3 maybe. But yeah, I specifically was not a huge fan of Queen of Air and Darkness. I felt like it's a setup for the next series. I much prefer the Infernal Devices and the Mortal Instruments. So I'm gonna get rid of this because I don't think I'm gonna reread it. And if I am, the library definitely has it, so these are gonna go. And they're so heavy. And then finally we have The Diamond Eye by Kate Quinn. I recently tried to read this and then I just realized that actually I didn't really have any interest in it. It's about a female sniper and I'm just like not into guns and shit, so I already tried to read it years ago and gave up, and I just tried again and gave up again, so I think it's a sign. This is just, we're done. Anyway, but there is just a very quick little unhaul for you of all the books I'm getting rid of. I think that's 13 books, so that's pretty good. Clearing off some space on my shelf. Not that I really need it. I really don't have that many books anymore. But yeah, that's 13 books off the shelf. 13 less books to move, which is great. And I'm gonna go because I need to have a shower. My friend is also coming over today, which is maybe not the best day for it, but everything's fine. Hello there. Good morning. You're probably like, Samantha, where the hell are you? We've moved. I honestly don't remember what I filmed for this vlog. I don't know. It's been a long time that I've been working on this. I haven't posted a video in like 6 weeks. Bit of a disaster. But I finished another book and it was the book that I chose for this vlog. So I thought, let's talk about it. I'm sorry I didn't update you along the way, but I literally about 5 minutes ago finished Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I mainly read this on my commute, so thus the lack of updates. But yeah, now that we've moved, it's great, by the way. Move went very well. It was all very last minute, but everything was fine and we're pretty well set up. Still a few bits. I have a bookshelf, but we need to put it together. So that's something I might be working on later today, in which case I will of course time lapse that. But yeah, we're pretty much there on everything. And now I have about an hour and a half commute every day each way. So I'm definitely getting some reading in. But yeah, I would just sit on the train and read this book and I've finished it in like a week, which is a miracle because I've been in a bit of a reading slump. It's obviously been a lot going on with like starting a new job, the move. There's been a lot going on. So yeah, I haven't been reading a lot, been in a bit of a slump, but I finally finished a book. I think this might be the first book I finished in June. That's a problem. It's the 21st. Anyway, let's chat about Great Big Beautiful Life, shall we? So you might already know what this is about because I feel like this has been talked about. The reviews of this are very mixed. This book basically follows these two authors, Alice and Hayden. They are both kind of competing to write the memoir of this Hollywood socialite who disappeared. She was like famous back in like, I don't know, the 60s, and then she disappeared like 20 years ago, and no one knows who she is, where she went, anything like that. They both managed to track her down and are competing with each other to write her memoir, and along the way, they catch feelings for each other. So it has a lot of the typical Emily Henry hallmarks, like they're both somehow involved with books for their jobs. They have pretty good banter between them. There are family issues as well, always. The romance has pretty standard Emily Henry stuff. However, it's definitely more of a subplot, and the main plot is this storyline with Margaret. I don't know. I feel like the issue that a lot of people have with this book, and an issue that I also had with it, was that I feel like there wasn't enough time devoted to each story. I don't know, or just like the split between them felt off. Like, I feel like we got more of the romance development in the beginning, and then in like the second half of the book, it was more about Margaret's story and less about the romance. And so then I was like, well, I was actually enjoying the romance more. Like, I do also like learning Margaret's story. It has like a Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo vibe, just in like the way that the story is told. Kind of reminded me of Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo in some ways. And I did like Margaret's story. I think a lot of people are just like, I don't care about Margaret's story. I did like her story. I just kind of feel like it didn't work that well. Like, I feel like we needed more of Margaret's story or more of Alice and Hayden. Like, I don't know. The balance was just not great. Like, maybe it needed to be longer. Each aspect needed to be more fleshed out. I don't know. I just feel like I was enjoying it for such a long time, and then at the end, I feel like I'm a bit like, oh, that could have been better. Sorry, my battery just died. I was just saying, I don't really know how to rate this. I need to put it into like my compile thing and see what it comes up with, but I'm feeling like it's like a 3.5, a 4, like, I don't know, maybe 3.75, which is the same that I gave Happy Place. But my feelings about Happy Place are very different to my feelings about this. Like, Happy Place just wasn't happy. I really thought the story was good, but it just wasn't happy. So that's why I gave it like 3.75, because like based on my enjoyment, I didn't necessarily enjoy my time reading that so much. Whereas I did enjoy my time reading this. I just think the story itself was weaker. Yeah, it's a shame because I feel like normally Emily Henry is so good at like her characters, the storyline I enjoy a lot. The writing style was still great. But yeah, I just feel like there was something about this that just didn't quite work. Like, maybe it did need to be longer. Maybe some things need to be cut. Maybe it should have just been about Margaret's story. I don't know. I am going to put it in the call pile and find out what the true rating is. But to me, it feels like 3.75. But yeah, I read it, and I'm so glad I did read it. I was actually supposed to read it with my friends, and I just went ahead and read it without them because I just really wanted to know. You know, it's June. This came out in April. I waited 2 months to read it, and I just couldn't wait any longer. I'm a little bit disappointed, but I think based on what I'd heard, like, I've seen so many 1-star reviews for this book. So, like, based on that, I'm pleasantly surprised. But I think in terms of like last year, I think I read 3 Emily Henry books, and you know, it was Funny Story, Book Lovers, and Happy Place. And Funny Story and Book Lovers are like 2 of my absolute favorites of hers. So yeah, based on that, a little bit disappointing, but going off of the 1-star reviews, like, I'm pleasantly surprised. So, well, that's that. I don't know if I'm going to read another book for this vlog. I'm going to see how I feel. But I haven't actually finished this book because I only read like book 1 of the 2 books that are in here. So technically I need to read the next book in Theft of Swords, but it took me such a long time last time. But now I have my commute, so I think we'll see how it goes. But yeah, book 2 is Avempartha. Is what it's called. Technically, that's the next book I'm going to be reading. Maybe I'll start this later today. I'm sure this vlog is so long already because it's so disjointed. I really need to put the clips together and see if I can Frankenstein something out of this, but I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry if you made it this far and it's such a mess. I apologize. Things are chaotic, but I think things are settling down now. Anyway, I need to go for a run and I'm procrastinating, so I'm gonna go. I'll chat to you later, maybe starting the next book in this bind up or putting my bookshelf together. Something like that. I'll chat to you later. Hello. Good morning. It's like one of the hottest days of the year today, but yes, we're finally putting the books on the shelf today. So excited. This is, of course, a byeeee bookshelf from IKEA. Obviously, the last shelf I had were custom shelves, custom built by my mom, but this time we have trusty byeeee bookshelf, which should be something that we can take to our new place whenever we move, which, fingers crossed, is sometime this year. Yeah, welcome to the new house. This is the office. This is where I work from home and where Alex also works when he's like studying and stuff like that. It's a bit of a mess, but we're also gonna have my books in here because our room will be overcrowded if we put the bookshelf in our room. So yeah, it's just next door, but the books will live in here. Really quick, we're gonna go over what my plan is. And I'm just gonna time lapse it because I want to listen to an audiobook while I do it. So I think we're gonna do a similar setup to last time, as in my last bookshelf. We're probably going to go by genre, like starting off with fantasy. Then I had like a specific Sarah J Maas / V. Schwab shelf because I just had so many books by those two authors. Then I had classics, poetry and nonfiction, and then I had romance. So I feel like I need to switch that up a little bit because I do love romance a lot. So I feel like maybe I want to put my two favorite genres together, fantasy and romance. Then we can move on to like classics, nonfiction, and then I've got like some sci-fi, just a few, and like some young adult stuff. Obviously we want to have a shelf dedicated to the TBR, which is shrinking slowly. Yeah, that's gonna be the rough plan, is kind of grouped by genres. I don't know, we're just gonna see how it goes. Quite a few books to unpack, so let's do this.
Saw your silhouette in the backlight. Swear we could have met in a past life. Treating every night like the last time. So I end all my days with you. Yeah, we should share a backseat in a taxi to get home. No need for either of us at this point to sleep alone. 'Cause I don't like ending my days with you. You can waste my time if that's what you wanna do. Oh, I don't mind if all that you say is not true. Oh, I don't mind. I just wanna end all my days with If I'm being honest, baby, I don't really care what this is. 'Cause I've been feeling all this lately, kinda wishing.
Okay, hello. We're gonna go over the bookshelves. They're not perfect. They definitely need some tweaking, but like there are places where I want us to leave gaps because I know like certain books are gonna be going there. For now, it's okay. It's manageable. At least they're not boxes. So starting at the top, we have fantasy, and then I have the Hunger Games up here just because, you know, I love it. I didn't want to put it on the bottom shelf. And then my Andy Weir books, although I'm missing my original copy of The Martian because I lent it to my brother-in-law. And then I've just put this here for now. This is my little book nook because I couldn't fit it where it was before. So it's there for now. And then we go down a shelf and we have all of my Sarah J Maas books and then all of my V. Schwab books. I don't love this and it doesn't work super well. And also I know that these are out of order because I'm rereading it and I'm on to the tandem. So I wanted these to be accessible. This shelf definitely needs some work. I don't love it. Moving down, we have my TBR books. Everything that I need to get read for TBR Tackle. So over here we have nonfiction, then we move into classics, then we have all of the fantasy, and then just behind the bookmarks, the two other genres I have. Actually, I guess they're both kind of speculative, but anyway. And then Chain of Gold, because I did put it with the other Cassandra Clare books, and then I moved it up. Then down here, we have romance, all of the romance that I've actually enjoyed over here. And then we have sort of contemporary fiction and historical fiction kind of all together. Moving down, this shelf is very much a mess, as you can see. On this side, we have all of the classics that I have. And then on this side, we have all of my nonfiction that I have read. So yeah, definitely a big old gap here that I have to figure out, but for now, like, just leaving it as it is. And then down on the bottom shelf, we have the Cassandra Clare books that I still have, and then some young adult fantasy and middle grade, well, just Nevermore series. Then I have Twilight and Midnight Sun. That is for a video project, and they're technically TBR. Well, I have read Twilight before, but technically TBR, but I'm not including it in TBR Tackle, so it's not going on the TBR shelf. And then I have my young adult sci-fi and dystopian. So we've got Illuminae series and the Arc of a Scythe trilogy. Those are the shelves. Anyway, that's all for me. Back to the regular scheduled programming. Hello. It's been an entire week since I last spoke to you. But here we are. I'm sorry. We've already talked about how this vlog is a mess. But I have been reading the next book in the Theft of Swords book. This second book is called Avempartha, which is the name of like a tower that's in this book. Anyway, but I'm making very decent progress. I'm on page 540 and it's 649 pages. So I've got just over 100 pages left, which is very exciting. I feel like I started this such a long time ago. Not that I'm not enjoying it, although I have to say I'm enjoying the second book so much more than the first. And I think it's really funny because I saw somewhere online that these are supposed to be like episodic novels where you could read them out of order if you wanted to. I think that's completely wrong. There's definitely a plot that's running all the way through. I can already see that building. I kind of know which direction we're going in with that. Not in a bad way. I can tell that there's a bigger plot going on, but also you just like met a lot of the characters in the first book who are popping up in this book. Like there's this princess called Arista and you meet her in the first book. I feel like you could enjoy seeing her character more in this book because you've met her in the first book. You still know who she is, but yeah, like I don't know. I would recommend reading it in order from my experience. But yeah, this second one is a lot more exciting for me, I think. Not that the first one wasn't, but I feel like the first one we were traveling around quite a bit and like, I don't know, it just didn't feel super intense. Whereas this one, we have a creature. In this second book, we're following Royce and Hadrian again. They've basically been found by this girl called Thrace. She's heard about them and she's desperate for help because everyone in her village is dying. There's this monster on the loose that is hunting down the villagers and she's like, don't really know what else to do. And she's approached by someone who we meet in the first book. Don't want to spoil it, but she's approached by someone from the first book who basically says, you should go find Royce and Hadrian. The only way to kill this beast is by getting into this tower. And the only people who can get into this tower are Royce and Hadrian. So go track them down, bring them back here, everything will be fine. So that's kind of the setup. So Royce and Hadrian go back to her village. There is indeed this monster killing everyone. And yeah, it's quite exciting. And also there is another plot going on which involves some of the like royal characters that we met in the first book, like Arista, who I mentioned. And there's going to be this contest and we don't know what the contest entails, but we know that there's this contest that's happening. And that's kind of where the bigger plot is. And then we have like the side quest of Royce and Hadrian trying to figure out how to kill this creature, get into this tower. And yeah, that is the plot of the second book. It's definitely more entertaining than the first book. Not that the first one wasn't, but I have to say, I feel like I was a little bit disappointed by the first one. I thought I was going to have a silly, goofy, fun time. And I did have a fun time. There were some silly, goofy moments, but not really. But then this one, I feel like there's definitely been some humor. It's definitely not silly, goofy, but it's a good time. I'm enjoying it. And I do like seeing these characters pop up again. Anyway, I've also actually already ordered the next bind up, which is called Rise of Empire, books 3 and 4. I've already ordered that. So I will be continuing on with the series for sure. I like it enough. We'll see how this one wraps up. Like I said, I've got about 100 pages to go. It's currently the 28th of June, and I want to finish this before the end of the month because I have not read very many books this month. That's the plan. Finish this in the next 2 days and finally finish this freaking vlog. I'm so sorry. Anyway, I'm gonna go, but I will read, I will come back to you, I will wrap up this vlog. Finally, I promise. Hello there, please excuse my face and also the background. It's a bit of a mess, but as you can see, the bookshelves are done. Full transparency, I'm filming this clip right after I did my bookshelves earlier, which you will have just seen. However, it's been about 2 weeks pretty much almost to the day since I finished reading the second book in the Theft of Swords bind up, the second Rare Revelations book, which is Avempartha. And yeah, I finished it about 2 weeks ago. I really thought that I had come back and told you my thoughts. And then I have literally just started editing this vlog, which is so overdue. I'm sorry. But yeah, I've literally just started editing it and I was like, oh my god, I never told you my thoughts on Avempartha. Without any spoilers, I really enjoyed this one so much more than the first one. I was actually like quite disappointed by the first one. I don't really know how much I can't remember how much I articulated that in my like first wrap up of the first book. But yeah, that one was like a 3-star and I was expecting this to be like a 5-star read. So I was a little bit disappointed by it, but oh my god. It's so windy. I really thought we were just gonna lose the camera. Yeah, I really thought this was gonna be a 5-star read. And then, yeah, that first book, I was like, you know, that was good. It's a really good introduction to all of the characters, but the actual, like, adventure is not amazing for me. Meanwhile, the second one, I feel like had so much more going on. The stakes felt so much higher. Because obviously the stakes were high in the first book because they were being framed for the murder of the king. So obviously, like, it was pretty high stakes, but I felt like the stakes didn't stay that high for that long. Meanwhile, in this second second one, the stakes were very high and it was a lot more interesting. There was this like mythical creature, which I've never like seen before. It was similar to something else that I've seen in other books, but I'm trying not to spoil what it is because that reveal is part of the book. We got to see characters that we'd already met and had like established in the first book, and they got developed more in this one. There's also definitely a bigger plot that's going to run throughout the whole series, and that is being developed a little bit more in this book, and we get some reveals and it's pretty great. I loved the ending. Like, it was a cliffhanger in a way, but it was like, it was quite, like, I saw it coming, but still, like, when I read it, I was like, oh my god, I can't wait to read the next book, which I haven't started yet, but I do plan to start very soon. I've already bought Rise of Empire. It's over here on the shelf somewhere. So yeah, I really enjoyed the second book. I ended up giving that one probably 4 stars. So overall, giving this 3.5 stars. So to finally wrap up this video, we read 4 books, technically, if you count Theft of Swords as 2 books, which I am, because they felt like different books. So they are. Anyway, firstly, we read Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. I listened to the audiobook. I enjoyed this, but definitely, like, it's no Pride and Prejudice. So I think I gave it 4 stars. Then we read the first book in the byeeee Revelations, which I gave 3 stars. Then I read Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, and unfortunately this was like a 3.5. It was not the best, but also not the worst Emily Henry I've ever read, but it just wasn't great. And then finally I read the second book in the byeeee Revelations series, which is Avempartha, which I've just told you about, and I gave that 4 stars. We also got a cat. I haven't even shown you. We have a new kitten, but I'm going to keep you guys coming back. Subscribe and you'll get to meet him in the next video. We read 4 books with a range of ratings, but everything above a 3 stars, which is pretty good. Again, I'm so sorry for the disjointedness of this vlog. As you are aware from watching this vlog, a lot has happened, a lot has changed. We got new job, new house, dealing with a commute. Now you also know that there's a new kitten in the family. So yeah, it's been a lot. I feel like I'm getting back to it. Hopefully episode 6 will not take as long. I started filming it today and it's already mid-July, but it's fine. Everything's fine. Thank you for sticking with me if you watched all the way through this. And also thank you for sticking around during my 2-month hiatus. I hope that I won't be taking that much time off again anytime soon. Yeah, that's all I have. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give a thumbs up. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe down below. And if you have any suggestions for themes for future episodes, let me know. I'd love to know. But yeah, that's all I have. So I'll see you hopefully very soon with another video. Bye! You're too far away.